now let's get more into the recruiting side of things. You know, just recently they picked up a commitment in Jalen Wilson. You know, the news kind of surprises some folks, but how does this news that John Beilein returns kind of impact recruiting in the future?
It's so huge that he was the one to take himself out of the NBA, you know, job Pistons race, because now you shape the narrative on the recruiting trail. If they pass over you, if the pro job passes over you, other coaches can go into recruits homes and say, hey, he wants to be in the NBA. Only reason why he's not there is because they turned him down. Now he can go into homes and say, look, I chose to stay at Michigan over the NBA, and that's legitimate. And so what that does is it gives you cachet. Now you go in these rooms, hey, man, the NBA wants this coach. Not only is he developing players, winning at this level, the NBA wants him to come, but he wants to stay and coach college basketball. I think that's going to resonate with recruits. I think player development and program success already resonated with Jalen Wilson.
Yep.
And now you move on to their next big target, a couple of spots higher in the rankings, DJ Carton, who I know you've been in contact with.
Yeah, he set the visit on the 28th. Don't know. He says it's an unofficial, but we don't know whether it's going to be unofficial, official. But obviously, that's good news for Michigan. Made his top group. Michigan feels good where they stand, and I think you and I do as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, the future was bright before this whole Pistons thing came about. Wouldn't necessarily say it's brighter, but I mean, the future definitely looks pretty good.
Well, it gives you an even greater bounce on the recruiting trail. And with DJ Carton, I mean, you look at the track record for guard development for Michigan. It's outstanding, and you know his ability to come in and get into the mix early on. I mean, so there's an opportunity that's going to be present here. He's explosive. He can play off the ball. Great court vision. You know, and this is the other part, Jalen Wilson. Yep. So Jalen Wilson, now you have in the recruiting class, because you know success can beget success, especially when you have a guy in the class that'll go out and court other guys, and Jalen appears to be doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was talking to DJ the other day, DJ Carton, and he mentioned that, you know, him and Jalen have become really close throughout the process, and that he, you know, told me that, you know, I always knew that Jalen was going to come to Michigan. You know, at the end of the day, you know, recruits build relationships with recruits all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, they're going to follow each other. But, you know, if you've been following closely, you know that these are, you know, Michigan's 1 and 2 guys on this 19 class. So at the end of the day, it's not necessarily a bad thing that those two are so close.
Yeah, and he's, I mean, you talk about explosiveness at the point guard position. He can score. He can get others involved. And, you know, that's one of the unique things about Jalen Wilson. I mean, a 6'8", 190-pound guard.
Yeah.
These could be backcourt mates, very versatile backcourt mates. And it's a thing, you know, guys envisioning playing with one another. But you got to have a guy that's willing to go out there and recruit. This kid clearly is doing that. And not only with DJ Carton, who is, you know, number 3 point guard in the class, a 5-star prospect in the 19 class in 2020. And, you know, Jalen Wilson's, they say it's his best friend, R.J. Hampton, is another backcourt guy that is a 5-star guy. I think he's number 3 overall in that class. And you talk to the people around Jalen Wilson, they say, hey, these guys, if you see one, you see the other when it comes to the summertime. So
yeah, it'll be really interesting to see, you know, when things pick up between, you know, Hampton and Michigan. You would assume that they would at the very least, kick the tires,
right,
and kind of gauge the interest. I mean, judging from Hampton's Twitter account from when Wilson was going to announce, because he was actually with Hampton when he released his video, that, you know, he was excited and, you know, generally excited that he's going to Michigan. So I think there would be mutual interest, but it just, how far, we don't know yet.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's pure speculation.
Yeah, you're right to temper it by saying, look, Jalen Wilson being here doesn't guarantee DJ Carton's coming. It doesn't guarantee R.J. Hampton's coming. What we're talking about is now Michigan's, they're resonating more.
Yeah, no,
between
absolutely.
the success on the court, and then you have a piece in the class that's a lure for others. These are things that add up well with some of the top targets or emerging targets for Michigan. And then just one more note, assuming Michigan can beat out the other contenders for for DJ Carton. They would be full at that point, scholarship-wise. But I don't think that would be the end of them courting prospects. I mean, this day and age of recruiting, this is another way John Beilein has evolved. You got to recruit with attrition in mind. There's always that possibility, whether it's Michigan or a mid-major of guys leaving. And so you continue to recruit some horses in the event that. And I think Michigan's going to do that with a few prospects, including this kid, Jaden McDaniels, who is a 5-star prospect, number 10 prospect in the country, a 6'9" guy that is ultra uber versatile, can play in the post, can play facing, can shoot, and he happens to be Juwan Howard's cousin. Mm-hmm. So an end there that Michigan is trying to exploit, and we'll see if they're able to. But again, another recruitment that they're resonating in because of their success and because you got a coach now that is in high demand, that has developed players, and guys on the recruiting trail know it.
All right, that'll do it for us today. For more on Michigan basketball recruiting, head to themichiganinsider.com.